Hello, hello. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see if we are live. It says we're starting. Okay, I believe we are live. Hello! I know sometimes it takes a hot moment to be able to allow all the pieces to come together for us to be able to show up live inside of a Facebook group. So, hello! Oh my gosh. Okay, so I am very no fluff about it. That's kind of like my style, my personality. So real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ashley DeLuca. I am an email marketing strategist. I've been doing this for close to 6 years now, which is so crazy to say. If you would have asked me at 14 what I would be doing at 27, definitely would have never said email marketing. That is for sure. But super incredibly excited to be part of this community, to be able to share with you guys more in regards to what is conversational email marketing, which is basically like my signature sauce. How do you actually implement it and use it into your business? And over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be like kind of coming in here live to talk about other pieces that you can implement. Very strategy, action based, very tactics, like let's get into it. And so that's what you can expect from me in regards to with my style of teaching, how I share, how I'll be showing up in these lives for you, and all of the things. So if you're here, definitely say hello. If you're catching the replay, definitely give me a wave as well. Always love to know who is here, who is, checking in, and all of that amazingness. So I'm really bad at breathing while I speak because I get so incredibly excited. So we're going to take a moment for a quick breath. Okay, let's dive into the good stuff. All right, so when it comes to conversational email marketing, today I specifically want to focus on the kind of idea and concept of like what is conversational email marketing. One of the biggest things that I've noticed and seen within the online space is we love to throw terms around. Like, we love to throw pieces around. We like to name things. We like to make things pretty. But a lot of times it gets down to things of like, okay, but like, what does that even mean? How do I even apply that into my business or into my life? And so, because people like to toss terms around, I would like to take today to actually define what it is and then how you can implement it. So, what is email marketing? Specifically, conversational email marketing. It's actually, for me, like my kind of working definition. It's where your emails appear like a conversation to your subscriber. The biggest thing that I've noticed within the many years that I've been doing email marketing is we're really good at being able to mask or hide ourselves behind our emails. And for you, as somebody who may be a coach that is just starting out, you may just be like, I'm not really sure about like getting all my life details out there. Like, if I have a conversation in my emails, does that mean I got to spill out my guts? What does that look like? I just want to talk about what I have going on. And trust me, I have been there right along with you. I actually remember a time when I went through the process of having a website audit done of my own website as a web designer, because you can never get too much feedback. And I remember someone saying, I can't even find a picture of you or anything about you until I go like 3 pages deep to find you. And that's kind of how I was showing up in my business. I was masking behind a name or a brand in order to be able to quote unquote like protect myself and not really show that other piece of me. And so when I first originally started email marketing, I did the same thing. I would just send out these kind of roll-up newsletters of like, here's the blog I did, here's the podcast I was on, here's what I've created. But there was no real true substance behind that. When I went through the process of shifting it around to create more of a conversation, kind of more so of like being able to relate back to the subscriber, sharing a little bit more about my life at the time, my dog, and what I was doing, it allowed for conversational doors to open with my ideal clients because they started to find me very much more of a human than a robot. They found that I was relatable, that I had things going on that they could relate to and that they were experiencing as well too. And so that's the beauty behind conversational email marketing. It's not necessarily like You always have to spill your guts. It's not necessarily you always have to show up in a specific way. You get to show up just as if you were having a conversation with somebody, whatever that may be, whatever that may look like, whatever that language may be, because it's not just about showing up, even though yes, we do all want to be professional. It's not just about showing up necessarily as like pish and posh and like making sure that your grammar's perfect. Like, no, it's about showing up authentically and uniquely as you, and that's where the conversational email marketing kind of lies and brings it all in between. And so, you know, really the only way that this works, because that's the thing, like we can talk about all day, every day about like what is email marketing, like how like a top level, but there's actually pieces underneath of that as well too about like how this actually works, how this really goes through the process of being able to help create the result that you're looking for, which is to be able to book more leads, create more consistent content, to be able to find your voice, to be able to establish authority in your niche. And a lot of times what that looks like is you have to actually have a relationship with the person on the other side of your email. Every single email address, whether you have one email address, and that's technically your mom, whether you have 100,000 email addresses, behind every single one of them, for the most part, yes, there's sometimes a spam, but for the most part, behind all of those, there is a living, breathing person behind there who has a life, who has a family, who has a credit card, who has a business, who has a pet, or whoever it is that you're looking to target. And until you establish that relationship, until you can go through the process of being able to dive specifically into your person, understand them, and to create that conversation with them, none of the rest of the stuff that I will ever teach you will ever work, because it starts with that foundation of building that relationship. And so today what I want to leave you with, you know, before we even start to talk about platforms, before we talk about tagging, segmenting, any of the other tech, I want you to really nail down and focus on, first and foremost, who is the person on the other side. Do you even know who you're emailing? Maybe you have a small list, maybe you don't. Like, it doesn't matter how many people you're starting off with. Whoever's in your community, get to know them. And not on the level of like, okay, what car do you drive? How much time do you spend on Instagram? Like, focus in more so deeper. So the best way to do this, and this is the action point I want to leave you with, is I would love for you to post a poll somewhere on your social media. Yes, this is outside of email, but outside of social, or on social media, post a poll. And I want you to start with easy yes/no questions first, and then go into a couple of the deeper, more thoughtful responses. When you start off with yes or no, it easily starts getting people engaged to like actually talk, to be able to do the things. And then that's when you get to move into more so of like the deeper questions and the deeper responses. And that's where you can really find the gold in your language. But I want you to ask a couple questions. I want you to ask them specifically, what is their biggest piece that they're missing? Like, what is their piece of the puzzle that they feel like they're missing in their life? And give them a couple options. So they can be a little bit broad, but like give them a couple options in regards to with like where they actually fit. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go through the process of then being able to ask more about their vision and their dream, right? Specific to what it is that you do. So for me, I would ask, what is your vision when it comes to email marketing? Like, how do you want it to feel? What are you currently working on? Like, these are pieces that you can start to ask, and then you can lead into more of like, cool, perfect. Like, what is something that you wish that you have right now? And that's when then you can be able to get to an idea of like, okay, cool, that's a topic I can talk about. That's something that I can create. Number one goal here is just to learn more about them. And even if you started off with some easy questions about coffee or tea, ocean or mountains, like just focus on creating that connection and then share your answers as well. And so that is what I'm going to leave you with today. Focus on creating those connections, focus on creating those relationships, and just focus on humanizing yourself. That is the key. Because that will really help us with being able to gain a better idea of who your person is, how we can help them, and to be able to kind of curate that process as well. And so thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, please feel free. Definitely drop them down below. Let me know. More than happy to help. More than happy to be able to curate, give you anything that I have to be able to help you. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing Tuesday, and I will talk to you later. See ya.